All of our expecting families, we have pre- and post-birth sound healing sessions with Huna Kahiwaha, available in person in Vancouver or anywhere online. Go to www.harmonizedfamilyroots.earth. Go beyond the distorted codes of the Draconian matrix and get a Lemurian oracle reading with Huna Kahasahi. For more information or to book your oracle reading, go to www.flc.earth. Introducing Mexico's only harmonic egg, operated by Hunas Maroyata and Ma'aikuta. For all of your health support needs, be it physical or emotional, sessions are available now both in Playa del Carmen and online. To book your session, head to www.apapachar.earth.
And welcome, sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. Welcome back to another moment, a moment in the Unrata, in the Zero Stone, light of the Zero Stone. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Incredible moment, incredible day, incredible week. I hope you've had an amazing, incredible week. That is, we're extremely pleased and extremely happy to, let's say, capitalize on this moment today where we have two wonderful guests. And at first we thought we might not be able to fulfill and complete our conversation with the incredible Erin Lyons, the Lion Queen, I call her. And so we were able to switch over to this date and include her here today. And also within this next 90 minutes or so, we also have to introduce Huna Ma Ha Na. So we're looking forward to, as you know, how we roll over here. It's House of Huna, and Huna Flash TV is live and interactive. You know how we roll. If you have a question and you want to answer to your question, I always invite you to come and bring your join the link and come up on the StreamYard and bring your beautiful face so we can see you. As you know, I share, this is all about the revealing. We're about the revealing at this time. Once again, because it's about unification. And so I want to welcome you all to the continue on with unifying to one another, getting to know one another. I want to welcome the audience, sweet, sweet dear ones from Erin Lyons audience. Welcome to you all there. I want to see if I can actually catch a stream too there. We are streaming in multiple dimensions. Today we have roughly 8 streams going simultaneously. Ain't that something? So it's kind of like 2 times everything. 2 times Facebook, YouTube, 2 times Instagram, so on and so forth. And 2 times, maybe 2 times of X, but at least we got a good time. We got a huge expansion, an expansive moment. Let me just greet, see if I can check out and see who's here. Our audience, sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds, with you here in the coming in through the YouTube here. We've got Etol, hi. Etwa, is that Etwa? Etwa, perhaps. Victoria, Una Tawaho, Wawa, Rainy Hassan. Greetings to you. Myra, hi there, Huna. Welcome. Oh, Huna to be, I should say. I know you're getting lined up for it. Baguette, Wawa, Harmony, Cole, welcome. Afia, hey there, Huna, welcome. Is that the Shy Code 77? Is that Shy Town? Somebody from Shy Town. I hope you're staying warm and you're not being run out of your home there in Chicago. I hope you're not. Welcome to Everest Queen there. Kia ora, and hope all is good there in New Zealand. Moira, love and blessings to you, Mont Blanc in France. Huna Ma Ha Na, welcome to you from the Utah. Yes, the Utah people of the in the land of Utah there. Huna Hirimata, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see your hair is growing strong and thick there, Huna. Having passed through and cleared your say ailments, and also welcome Leslie Brown, Felicia. Let me jump over here to the Grams of Instant. Say hello to sweet dear ones over there. Okay. Want to welcome Creamy-liciously. Creamy-liciously. Nyoki wa Nugi, is that how you say it? Art Design Studios. Carla Goodson, welcome, sweet dear ones. Swivtech Therapies, I think. There's some really interesting names going around here. Artisan and Matt Evans, welcome to you. Thank you for the welcome, Matt. You Bailey, H2O Liquid Light, J Marcel. A lot of new names here, so welcome, sweet dear ones. Thank you. Nadia Huri, Bika Ora artist, getting the dragon jaw happening there. Bad girl, Riss. Reedy, is that bad girl Reedy? Anyway, welcome to you all. I'll try to see if I can flip over to Erin Lyon's YouTube channel if she's live over there, but oh, okay, there it is. Let me just see if it'll show us your audience there, Erin. I think it's coming up. Oh yeah. Whole new audience over here. There's like 4 audiences going on, sweet dear ones. Amazing. Greetings to you over there from Erin Lyons TV. Thank you all for being here, sweet dear ones. Kristen Swarchek, Tay, Linda, Ellen, Shawana, Matthew Love, Rachel, Paula Lopez. Oh, you're in New Mexico, Paula. Claybrook. Thank you. Rebecca Coney, Al Bruno, Cosmic Wisdom. It's a whole show getting through all of these when we are operating this around multiple audiences. Fantastic, though. Talofa, Tanya Lu, Malai, Malo, Talofa, Tanya Lu, Juliet Reynolds, Tara Walton. Amazing. Angelic Bishop. I get carried. I'm going to come back and say hello to more of you once we get going here. So today's theme is it's complex. Okay, sweet dear ones. Are you up for a little complexity? I think you are, right? I think today, with all the shows that we have happening, today, I think that many of us are getting on the same page. Huh? You think we're on the same page? We're pretty close. We're sharing enough information. Everybody's getting zapped by energies, all at the same time. Okay, you're getting downloads, uploads, upgrades. You're getting sleepy. We're all getting sleepy at the same time. We're all dreaming at the same time. The dream has come true. Let me say. And so I wanted to share this theme, Journey of the Frozen Light, okay? And this Journey of the Frozen Light, also subtitled The Frozen Light Meets the Black Sun. And what is also included in this conversation is the dark Venus. Getting a little complex on you? You may not have heard of the dark Venus, but we'll get into some of that. And then also how this moment is correlating from the age of Aquarius to the age of Lemuria and the new age of Lemuria, and how this transition is happening. All right, so let me, with a drum roll, ding, and a little bell at the end of it, I want to bring, if she will come, we can invite her to jump in here with us. Erin, Lion Queen Erin, and let me just, you're unmuted. You're good to go?
I hope I didn't hop on too early.
No, not at all. You're right on time. My drum roll ended with a funny sounding bing, and there you are.
Excited to be here. Excited to be here today.
Thank you. I know we're in the opposite positions of where we were the last time we spoke, where you're now on my show and I'm on your show. We're kind of, except that the themes every Sunday I have these interesting themes. I feel they're interesting. I think they're interesting enough. You know, it's certainly not the same language as everybody else, as you can see. How you doing? How you doing, Erin? You having a good day?
Well, I'm in a bit of a death cycle myself right now, which I'm sure a lot of folks here are, which we'll expand on. But I am well nonetheless. Just waves of exhaustion and the body needing to rest and upgrade and recalibrate. So not allowing my mind to guilt me into productivity.
Like that. So just relaxing and eating ice cream. I like that too. That sounds good. I would do
No
that,
ice cream, but relaxing more. Relaxing more.
Nice work. Yes, I was. I must say, not totally disappointed that we couldn't chat the other day. However, I had the feeling that this day here would pop in, and then I was quite pleased that you were able to receive and at least feeling okay enough to jump on for a little bit.
Sure. And let me ask you, how are you doing?
You know, last night, interesting. I had a visit from 2 traveling Germans who were visiting one of my neighbors, and who's also a shaman. And they came to visit. We had a wonderful conversation. By the time that they left, I had a little headache and a little sniffle, a little sniffle. I don't mean to blame the Germans, but I was fine before they walked through the door. No, I just the last couple of days, there's been some exhaustion for sure. I've been burning candles and lighting fires in all directions at both ends and in the middle. Lots of wonderful planning taking place. It's been quite exhausting. I hadn't really noticed it, and it just caught up to me yesterday. And then last night I had a bit of a sniffle in my sleep. So no deaths, no excuse me, no death cycle so far. Perhaps I'm getting lined up for one. I feel good. I'm excited about today. Thank you so much. You know, where were we the last time we spoke? I really like what you did with how you timelined, you time framed the conversations from the live. You had a time frame, and then you highlighted certain pieces. That was very, very intelligent. Thank you.
That was my team. So shout out to them and all their amazing work.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, thank you.
So yeah, that it was such an incredibly activating conversation, and got so many unexpected views. I think we both were surprised by that, but I think it highlights the craving for people to have real information, original information at this time.
I like to think that we were pretty real. Yeah, I can agree that it was substantive and really just had a lot of meat and guts to it. Had a lot to bite into. There was a lot to grab a hold of.
Uh-huh.
Um, and here, Richard, greetings, Richard, and he's saying that it was amazing. And
Thanks for
it
sharing. Thank
just
you.
converted, flowed and flowed and flowed. And what came from that. And I want to thank you so much, and your sweet, sweet, sweet dear ones, the audience, for a lot of sessions, one-on-one sessions came through from
Nice.
many of those. Yeah, a lot of one-on-ones, and it's really
Nice.
sparked another push. And I've like doing the one-on-one sessions. It was about an hour for a one-on-one. They there was extremes of the questions were extremes, and there was a lot of sharing about what's going on in their lives and getting really deep. And so it's been going from very deep one-on-one sessions into full-on seals. So
Mm.
there's been some of your audience that have now become Hunas, have taken the initiation and become adepts, initiated
Beautiful.
into the Huna, and also some that have joined the Dragon Master. So I want to thank you. I probably owe you 15% or 20% for
Oh,
something like
no,
that.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I just, source aligns me with the right people, and then wherever souls need to go, they go in that direction. And I absolutely love that. Love, love, love that.
So really want to thank you for of course, your audience, your followers, and your members. They're just incredible, open consciousness, ready and open-minded, and it would seem, of course, in the same with our audience, the sweet, sweet dear ones are just showing up. They're showing up now.
Mhm.
As I was saying, it's like we're in the dream. The dream has come true. We are both dreaming and we are both walking. We are in multiple dimensions, moving through this as light in action. The light is in action. So kind of part of what I wanted to talk about today, and then see where we can meet regarding the Pluto conjunction and Aquarius and Lemuria, and then also a couple of other little tidbits, a couple little complexities that we want to that we would like to share in there. Okay, so the theme being frozen light and Pluto and this age of Aquarius. I would like to just, if I could, have you share, or it doesn't have to be all fully blown out, but what your understanding of is the big where the age of Aquarius started for you. Where were
Mhm.
you when you connected into that, where you got that initiation moment that lit that it's now the age of Aquarius? What were you doing? Where were
So,
you?
for me personally, what's coming through is the significance of 2012. And so, shortly after 2012 was the ramp up of my very, very intense awakening and eventual reabsorption back into crystalline source energy. So it's not that the cosmos right now, or what humanity understands to be the cosmic landscape, is not reflecting that, but it's not
Mm.
necessarily the most accurate in my personal experience. My age of Aquarius began about, you know 12 years ago.
Mm.
I hope that answers your question. But I think the collective energy right now has reached that mass critical point where we can say we're
Exactly,
entering the age of Aquarius.
exactly. Because I think that do you remember what you were doing? Were you
I
doing the
was
dishes at the time?
graduating
Were you
high
in ceremony?
school, entering
Ah,
college, and I mean, when I say I just unraveled, that's the best word that I can give it. I just unraveled. So that's
ah.
getting ready to happen on a mass collective scale, that unraveling inner death cycle, dying into source.
you could discern all of this as you were entering college. Is that right? Or
Yes.
you were that advanced entering into college and understanding this is what was going on,
There had
or did
always
that
been a
that
deep
realization come later, a little bit later?
18, 19, 20. So it wasn't just like a boom. It was a
Mm,
3-year
yeah.
cycle of
Okay.
between 2012. I mean, really, I could say between 2012 and 2016 is phases and waves of initiations, activations, and awakening.
See, why I'm asking this question is because I like to share this understanding that we many were ahead of schedule. In other words, from the future. Hmm?
Mhm, mhm,
Um, where was I? I was upgrades, pulling in more upgrades to the body, and energizing my field and these things, and doing ceremonies, lot more ceremonies, more seals. But the 2012 moment for me was, and many, we had got the message that we were moving into the age of DC,
mm,
that the completion of the Mayan calendar and that whole completion of that energy for that moment um, was not was more about moving into higher vibration feeling of compassion. So that moment from 2012 on to recently was known as the DC, which means the dispensation of compassion.
mhm,
So we went from BC, which we began to refer to as the barbaric age or the barbaric centuries, um, of which it really was. It was quite barbaric and chaotic. And then getting to the closure and shifting into this next gear that we have, a bigger wheel, moving into clicking over to a bigger wheel, a much larger wheel that here in the center, much larger disc, if I can say, which carries, which demanded, and really you had to come to a the higher power of compassion in the heart, which is a very, very high, very powerful
mhm,
energy, compassion in the heart.
mhm,
And that's when we, many around the world, interesting enough, different communities, different elders were speaking the DC. And I was speaking the DC, we were speaking the DC, and the dispensation of compassion came.
mm,
And it was about letting go and allowing more, allowing the people to speak, and allowing the people to be upset, allowing the people to air their views, air their differences, air their difficulties, and their speak about their stresses, and kick and scream and yell,
mhm.
and blame the religion and blame others, and let them blame everything. Blame and shame was going crazy at that time.
Patriarchy, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Uh,
That was a big wave of that.
that's a big way one. Blame blame this, blame the mask, toxic, and then the feminines fighting with between themselves, feminism and the motherhood and the mothership and the womb.
Mm,
Oh boy, you know. So allowing to have the compassion energy to allow those voices to be heard, allow them to speak. Of
sure.
course, distraction and deflections happening all the time through war and the governance, the unsacred governance, still trying to not willing to come to compassion. The cabinets within the parliaments and the governance are not willing to have compassion for each party, each other, not willing to unify, and we still have some of that. However, there's a less percentage of that now, and more compassion happening, believe it or not. Now, that lasted, my understanding, that lasted all the way through till March 8th, 2021. For our understanding, and just as a timeline, as a marker for us, this is when the Mayan calendar actually ended. and the dispensation of compassion, the DC, moved from the age of the DC into for me, the age of Lemuria, the opportunity to bridge Aquarius and the Atlantean back into Lemuria. So that bridge, that fine line that we are walking right now, age of Lemuria and the age of Aquarius and Lemuria, beginning to bridge, beginning to share some very complex languaging and feelings and details and knowing. Yeah, go ahead.
For those who may seek more knowledge on the difference between the Lemurian ages and cycles and the Atlantean cycle, what can you share on that?
Okay. Now they both operate counterclockwise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Atlantean begins to rotate from January. Let's just say January. There's no such thing as January, but okay, just where that moment is in the Northern Hemisphere. And the Lemurian begins its rotation from June. Doesn't have to be June, could be called whatever. Okay. Could be called Elvis. Starts from Elvis. Doesn't matter what it's called, but it starts from this particular moment. So Aquarius in the winter for the new year, for the winter in January in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay. And for Lemuria in the winter in June. Okay. Now, if there's two different, though they're rotating counterclockwise together, we mark the new calendar, the starting of the calendar on the first week. We mark time zones. And in winter in June is where the first light time zone begins on the planet. Starts in winter in June. That's the first second of light. And so it's winter in June in the first light, and it's also summer in June in the first light. Now, in the Atlantean, light time is pushed clockwise, goes in the opposite direction of the Lemurian time, Lemurian light zones, because Lemurian light zones move with the seasons. The time moves with the energy. In the Atlantean, they split it. They split the energy goes counterclockwise, and the Roman clock tower goes, counterclockwise, and the Roman clock tower goes clockwise. So counterclockwise for the energy in the seasons of Atlantis, and time clockwise in the Roman clock tower. They split the energy into time, and it causes the energy to be folded back into itself. So it closes. It's a closed cycle. It goes like this. And it just keeps spinning inside to itself, like the wheels are spinning, and everything just gets churned back into and regurgitated back into itself. So if time doesn't really go anywhere, because it's an illusion, it caused for a long time a misconception, misinformation, misdirection of fake time and energy, using energy to pull it back in. So pulls it back in. And so, but the Lemurian, it takes time and energy from first light, which is in June, first light zone, time zone in 24 hours, and that goes together, and one doesn't close into the other. They both spiral openly. That's the Lemurian, which represents the DNA, the higher spiraling action of the DNA. Can you see that? Did I make sense?
Yes. So how I'm seeing this is you have, I'm just going to call it an organic time. Like time is an illusion and it's still a matrix within of itself, but you have this organic time matrix that's in alignment with planetary movement, seasons, and cycles. Then you have the
energy,
matrix time that was created through the split of the splitter creation of that calendar system or that measurement of
Mhm.
time. So whatever humans create in our collective thought field, our collective dream, it becomes real. So then we have the matrix time illusion, and then we have the organic matrix, but then they're battling each other, they're working against each other, which would essentially keep human consciousness in a tug of war um energy, really, because it's not a harmonic, there's just like a competing energy is what I feel.
Well, absolutely. That is what the illusion is to have you battle.
Mhm.
Now, the Draconian and the Gregorian is designed for you to not see, to be confused. So, and what is natural? The Lemurian system is a matrix, but it is of nature and of benevolence. It supports the creation of life. So, which direction do you want to go in? You want the death cycle, and do you want the creation of life cycle, which means you still transit into many lifetimes. But the discovery of this is that you always learning and rising and not being stuck in a loop,
Mhm.
retrograding into loops, boom, from the other, right? So what is natural to you, what feels natural to you, fine. You can decide, but I would recommend, and we are moving beyond the time of compassion because we still have compassion for those who feel they can want like to stay in the draconian, and all the codes that come from the Atlantean are within the draconian system,
Mhm.
because that was the period that they entered. That was the time that they were spoken. That was where they were spoken. They were spoken in that time of the barbaric age. And we're needed to understand what feels good and what doesn't feel good, what supports the creation of life and what doesn't. What is the opposite?
Mhm.
Now, not saying that there was ever anything wrong with Aquarius or the zodiacs or the astrology. Nothing wrong with it.
Sure.
It can be supported with compassion, and that's fine because we do. We do. I still do. I have compassion for the tribes of Draconia. I,
And that's a
I
part of the mastery is you can't get to the highest embodiment of your light essence if you don't have that compassion and then neutralize that energy back into pure love.
exactly. So in the pure love, the mission, the walk, the intentions, the dream, the creative concepts, and the imagination moves into the creation of life. So you move on.
Mhm.
You move on. You simply move on. You take everything that's been learned, right, and you recognize it. Yes, you're exactly right. And so, not that there's anything ever wrong. So now, here's a really cool bit for uh, Aquarius in Draconia and Lemuria in the Wataka, or the operating system of Lemuria. Here's a really cool bit in terms of astrology and birth signs. Now, if we look at the Draconian, we look at the Atlantean, and we look at Aquarius, which comes from the hyperboreal language of the Greek, the Roman, right? Hyperboreal is not spoken in the Lemurian. That's not even a language on that side. On this side, it is. So, Aquarius being a zodiac, what does Aquarius do? What does it mean?
Mhm.
Right? It's so far when you look at it, it's a bowl, a vase. Is it water or is it air?
They say it's a water bearer, but it's an air
But
sign.
people also say it's wind or air, right?
Mhm.
They try to make their mind up. Well, here's what we understand that to be. That essence is breath, because
Mhm.
that is water. Breath is water, but it is also oxygen, air, breath.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
when we think about Aquarius, and if you think, okay, Aquarius surely does not want to die on the table of astrology and zodiacs and not continue to live, it must also ascend, right? Does not Aquarius and language, every language ascends to returns to the full blueprint of energy. So there's confusion that Aquarius is either water or air. There's the confusion there. Okay. Now, if we go to like, all right, what is the upgrade of that?
Hmm.
Of water
Air.
and air?
Well,
It's
wouldn't
breath.
air be the upgrade? Air would be the upgrade from water, which would be the breath.
Should be the breath. Now, there's two thoughts to this breath, because to have the breath is to speak sound. To speak sound is to have an intention, because it's not just willy-nilly sound. It is intention sound.
Mhm.
Right now. So if it is sound and it's upgraded, it's the breath. What is your intention for the breath as you are speaking? What is your intention? And also telepathically, that is still intention as well. So telepathically, it's air, it's nothingness, but it is magnetic. So you can't see it, but you can feel it.
Mhm.
And then kinetically with the breath, because it has physical kinetic energy to it with light and frequency, and it has also an intention to it. So if this is an upgrade of Aquarius moving into telepathic breath, or the telepathic word intention, and the breath word, then what is the upgrade of its astrology? And it represents a zodiac. So what is the upgrade of that zodiac? If we are to say we are supporting the creation of life to continue on. And if I can share this, it's a little bit complex, but are you following me? Sweet dear
Mhm.
ones, everybody.
Let us know
Um,
how you guys are feeling in the chat. What's coming up for you?
yeah, they're going to have a question. They can also come when they come in with that question, Erin. They have to come on the StreamYard and ask directly.
Okay.
That's the little kind of a thing we do here.
Okay.
It's
I love
wonderful. So what's the upgrade? The upgrade for the Lemurian means that there's a return to nature, which return to the supporting of life.
Mhm.
And therefore, what would be its upgraded birth sign, its upgraded zodiac? What's its star sign? And in the Lemurian, its upgraded star sign is a hummingbird.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I'll link it. We share it. Whether it's believable or not, it's up to everybody. But again, why the hummingbird? Well, in the Lemurian Wataka, we call it Wataka, which means the operating systems. Right? It's not a calendar. Wataka. It's like behind me. That thing's behind me. But in the Wataka, it supports the creation of life. And the hummingbird sits at the position of Aquarius in the Lemurian alignment, sits at the same position in the month called February. The hummingbird represents the throat, the speaking voice, the voice. It represents the tiny voice from heaven. And it's not spoken of as hummingbird. It is in the Lemurian, has a different title. The energy is Tirani Motu, which means the island or the continent of the tiny voice from heaven. And that is in our understanding of what, and we are going through all of these confirmations, great dear ones, Erin. We have been working through these confirmations as we are working with those who are of these birth signs, and also remember before Atlantis what it was in the nature. And so we return the tiny voice from heaven to the same location as you would with Aquarius, except this is in support of the creation of life.
So what I'm downloading now is that the age of Aquarius, for folks who have already been ascending in their consciousness and frequency, it's the entry point back into the Lemurian operating systems, where you would then begin to explore or remember this astrological system you're presenting to us.
Okay, exactly. Now,
Uh-huh.
from the position of Aquarius, there is an alignment to a Stargate. Let me go to this bit.
Can you explain what a Stargate is? Just because there's a lot of information out there, but I think people don't really understand what they are, and who better to, get the real
Back
deal.
in the day, they were transport channels, gateways for transporting star nations would transport, energy communication through different portals, through different stargates. And these were, over time, there was betrayals within the star nations. And so there were wars. And the wars left fracturing and distorted frequencies at these stargates. So they had to be shut down. And they were shut down to be held down to the lower frequencies until such time as somebody so-and-so from the House of Huna comes along and resets the frequencies for those stargates. Why? Because we're upgrading to the creation of life. And these once were war and frequencies of low vibration and war were no longer allowed to enter into Lemuria. They had to stay down in Atlantis. They had to keep that lower. Not that Atlantis is lower. It was high once, but again, boom, we got, even Lemuria's stages, 4 stages of it was betrayals. And so the guardianship was that they be reset to higher frequencies and then maintained to higher frequencies as to the such time as everybody returns to the cycles to create life out of the matrix of the Draconian to return to Lemuria. Now, this is beginning. That's why, there is this conversation from Aquarius to Lemuria, or Draconian to Lemurian. Let me say Draconian to Lemurian, because the Draconians took over Atlantis and other beings. Now, so Stargates in the higher frequencies are aligned to our future selves and our higher selves. And our higher selves, we cannot be distorted. It cannot be that we will allow our light as children, the child of light, to be distorted, to come through the system. So this Stargate system itself in the Lemurian side is upgraded to a whole brand new birthing system, and is not susceptible to interstellar travel for your starship or your space force or your journey to Mars. Those are done through lower level portals. And you'll see beings and all kinds of beings opening portals all over the place because they're transporting goods, services, energy, communication, all kinds of stuff through there. But the Stargates, if you are of the right frequency, and Lemuria is a very high frequency, then you will possibly, when you're ready and aware at that time to communicate through the Stargate to Lemuria, you have to be of higher vibration. It's the key codes. It's very important. That's the guardianship. And myself, as one of the guardians, I'm very, very protective of that system for the child that's connecting through there. We already have a lineup of 22 billion souls lined up to come through that system. 22 billion souls are already on the guest list. Really, it is. So, getting a bit ahead of myself here.
Sorry.
Now,
can I ask you, as a guardian of this Stargate network, have you witnessed or experienced any attempt at infiltration again, or is it that the frequency is so far sustained into the light that it just hasn't been possible, and it's not possible at this particular moment in time?
Oh yeah, we caught a few of them along the way over these past 30 years. I've caught a few of them trying to infiltrate and enter to reset the frequencies to lower, but it's not possible. Once they're set to higher frequencies, it's supported by all of our higher beings, all of us. that had agreed to this. We had agreed to this. Yeah?
Even their higher essence, I'm seeing, is part of that collective agreement that those cycles are done.
All of us. So there was ego on the planet, and the ego said, no, I want to do this, I want to do that, just a time of low vibrations, even small bits of it remaining today. I don't give you the population, but there are certain number of populists that's still trying to infiltrate them. But so far, we've shut down access from the second dimension, which are dark tunnel portals to the underworld, if you want to say. We just call it the second dimension because it really doesn't bother us to do the work there. And so there are some trying to infiltrate through the second dimension to go interdimensional through the Stargate, but we've already set the frequencies for 24th dimension Stargates, which is connected to 24th dimensional strand DNA, 24 strand DNA. Even if you show the Anunnaki, not the Anunnaki, but certainly the Khazarians and the European families of those European families of the Khazarians, and of the they are, is it the Ashkenazi, who are 10 strand DNA? They cannot access the higher vibration Stargates because they are 10 strand DNA. And even if you're 12 strand DNA, you'll be given the opportunity to understand it and learn it and know it and find where they are and be shared with where they are. Because if you're 12 strand DNA, you're activated into higher frequency. Mm-hmm. So this is a growth to your growth is happening, which is right about now, because we have been seals, which activates the 12 strand DNA. Then we are already, it's quite interesting in the year of 24. That I'm about to reset Stargate number 24 in its higher frequency. There are 48 Stargates, Erin, that we are tasked with. There are many Stargates, but there are some that have been kept to the lower frequency because they're being utilized for travel, shipping lanes, those kinds of things. But anything to do with the light of the child cannot be interfered with. That is our higher self. The bridge. The child's light is the bridge to a higher self. Mm-hmm. That cannot be interfered with. Mm-hmm. Now, so this year I begin 24. I've done a lot. I can share locations. It takes another show to share the location. So another
we'll have a whole separate show on Stargates. Just
locations.
We'll talk about Stargate locations and.
I will tell you that in Egypt, they think that the Amenti, halls of Amenti, and all these have portals and stargates connected to the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. Right? It's not. Because of the war, it cannot be. There is portals, but not to the highest frequencies. I can tell you that years ago, I did reset the frequency for a Stargate in Egypt. Its location is inside the Nile River. It's inside the water. Mm-hmm. It's aligned to the location of when you first see the sun on the Nile River from the Temple of Dendara, the Temple of Mother. When you go to the Temple of Mother at first light in the morning, face the east, the sun will rise. And if you stay there a moment, you may see it because the temple's about a mile or half a mile from the river. If you go down to the river, you stand there and wait for first light. That's the location of Stargate number 6. And it is set to the feminine frequencies. It's totally your feminine queen, lion queen frequency. It was at the pyramid. Because of the wars and the things that changed, it had to be shifted over to the Temple of Dendara to Mother Isis, Hathor. Well, and there in the Nile River, because a very powerful Stargate, it's called the Door of Fire. It's the essence of the Door of Fire, which is there's more to share about these things. And I set that one a long time ago.
When did you reset that frequency? Because as you know, that one's really connected to me.
2014, 2013.
Lines up with a lot of death and just a whole thing. So it lines up. It lines
That
up.
that whole area where that gate was, where that property and the land, the buildings were smashed out like it was war, and there was trash and rubbish everywhere. And myself and my team, I said, "This is where it is," and we're all standing there in trash heaps. Is this where it is? I said, "This is where it is. This is where it." Hey, don't look at the trash. There's the Nile right there. There's trash all over the Nile. And they're looking at me, go, "Who know what the hell?" Yeah,
Yeah.
lay down the carpet, and we're gonna set up the altar, and we're gonna set up the program, and this is the ceremony, and we're gonna do it. And at first light. When that happened, the following year, that whole place was pristine cleaned, like a brand new park, like a brand new, all cleaned up. The following, and animals were coming back there to have their babies, because there was none of it for it might have taken more than a year, I think. But anyway, I am informed that it is like a beautiful park there now.
Beautiful.
Now, you can't interfere with that, no matter, even if I tell you where it is, you won't know the codes to access anyway. But notice, not only the codes, your vibration has to be.
It'll be derailed.
It's derailed.
Yeah, it'll be derailed.
You'll bounce off the crystal. Okay. So, hey, yeah, there's a whole nother thing to get in. But this is what we're talking about when we're talking about going from the Draconian system, and where Atlantis got trapped into, and then return back to Lemuria, as this age of Lemuria 5. We've got Lemuria 5. The other reason why this is spoken this way, Erin, is that the Kumara, are you familiar with the Kumara?
No.
The 7 Kumara, right? You're not. It's in India, is built based upon this. Vedic is based upon the Kumara.
Okay.
This Kumara in the Lemurian means the essence of the light of days. It means the light of days, the eternal light of days, not the legend of days, the eternal light of days. That's what the Kumara, and you can like research Sanat Kumara, Sanata. Those are the mountain is still in India. The Kumara Mountains, and the cave where the plates and the seals, the same seal that's on my arms, are at the caves in India. The Kumaras, we came in at the end of Lemuria 4, and it was said 30 million years ago, by the way, that Sanat Kumara created Shambhala as the new base, so that the Buddhas could come and caretake and stewardship over the higher dimensions for the return of Lemuria 5. It wasn't the return of the Age of Aquarius. The Kumaras didn't speak that. They spoke the Age of Lemuria 5, the 5th moment when the 5th planet returns, when the 5th planet arrives. We're in the planet number 5 now. It's the information that we share. We have compassion for the tribes of Draconia, like I said, and what everybody is bridging, finding the way to the higher selves and the higher, out of the matrix.
Can I share something regarding that? Because I know there are a lot of folks here who are, sorry, we seem to be frozen a little bit. I was asking if I could share something, because I know there are a lot of folks here who study astrology, what they know to be astrology. And what I'm hearing Source Energy share so beautifully is that, I'm just going to kind of let them speak a little bit. We can share the truth and guide you through any distortion in system. So even within that astrological system, there have been clues and things planted and placed, even as you are incarnating, to give you hints and signs to navigate your journey. And so it is not an invalidation. It's just shedding truth and remembrance that the evolution is taking place, that we're shining a light on truth, so that you can be in alignment with the true planetary consciousness in alignment with the mother.
Absolutely. We share compassion for that, and we speak it in ways possible. It's very difficult to speak, but we share it enough ways so that some can comprehend it and get clarity on it and find a way, okay, and start to measure the metrics of self, and that must take place. Individually, we must work with the measures and the metrics to understand each other's growth or our growth individually, and not to be stressed out by it, like be taken over by the stresses, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, but to begin to find a way to receive one's metrics in a way where there's growth can begin to take place. Now the information is being shared, and I do my best not to fracture anybody's, I'm a bit clumsy, like I'm a bit of a bull in the china shop sometimes, I admit. But, I ask for forgiveness on that at times, so but you're absolutely right, because in the Draconian there is breadcrumbs, right? There is breadcrumbs there, and they do lead somewhere.
Yep.
They lead you somewhere, right? It's all good. You know what? That's a great comment, and an incredible recommendation, I would say. As we move into the next part, I would like to take a little break, pause for the cause for our Huna's businesses, and invite our other guest to be with us on the next part of that show, if we don't mind, if that's okay. Okay, Tamake, if you would, we would take a short pause for the cause, sweet dear ones, and we will introduce our second guest and share with you some information of what we are doing with our businesses and our entrepreneurship from a different angle.
Hi, I'm your Light Shaman. Are you experiencing unpleasant energies in your home and surroundings and waking up in the middle of the night? My work involves clearing individuals, homes, and communities. Contact me at www.lightshaman.earth, and I would be happy to help.
For all of your high vibrational healthcare needs, visit Huna Kaparore at www.lightinaction.earth. Tetrahedrons and obelisks for your on-site ceremonies, handmade and coated with Kotahara crystal dust by Huna Hikahima. Shipping is available worldwide. Go to www.shiningstar.earth.
Okay. Thank you for that. As you can see, the Hunas are quite entrepreneurs, and we've been inviting the world to separate from .com and move into .earth, which simply is a higher vibration from .com. Now, thank you for that first part of the show, Erin. I'd like to introduce now Huna Ma Ha Na. Noha, if you'd like to jump in here, if you're still there, Ma Ha Na, thank you for being so patient.
Hi.
Hi there. Thanks for your patience, love.
Oh no, I've enjoyed it. What a great conversation.
Wasn't that fun? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, Erin's, it's just amazing to have a conversation with Erin and her channeling. Now, just introduce yourself, Erin. Huna Ma Ha Na.
Hi, Erin.
Nice to meet you.
Mahana's Mahana's aka Noha. And
Yeah.
why don't you, if you could, Mahana, just little brief on yourself, few words
Yeah.
about yourself, and introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Well, so where do I begin? Actually, your conversation got me thinking where I was in 2012 in December, and what came back to me was just my whole life fell apart. And it was like everything, relationships, work, everything just absolutely was falling apart. And that's really where I started seeking help. It was 2013 actually when my awakening started, and since then it's been a roller coaster ride, but it's been amazing. From an academic, so that's where I thought my career was going, but in 2012 it was like Source was saying, no, you are going part-time so you can have time to think about your spirituality. And at the same time, my relationships with my kids, I ended a relationship with a lovely man, and it was like everything just fell apart. But since then, it's been one thing after the other. And I have to say, I got in touch with Huna in 2020. I was planning to go to Peru, and Huna was in Peru, or were you going to Peru or something? And I was really cool because I'd been really awakening to Atlantis in Egypt because I'm from Egyptian heritage. And Hathor is a darling, as is Sekhmet, Isis. So I think Erin, you and I are like on the whole Egyptian goddess pantheon.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. I have some memory.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm awakening right now.
Yeah, I've just come back from Egypt, and it is really activating, and it's calling a lot of people at the moment. So definitely Egypt is happening, and I think Lemuria really has been calling me for a while as well, since 2017. And when I got to know Huna, it was like, I'm interested. I want to know more. What's going on with Lemuria 5? And
He's so captivating. You just can't help but just like you want to know more. You want to know more.
No, but the first thing was Huna said, "Are you sure you want to become a Huna? There's going to be some very dark forces out there." And I was thinking to myself, that's scary. Why isn't he encouraging me? I don't know what you were up to, Huna, at that point. Anyway, I fought through all the resistance, and I showed up after, it was during lockdown, actually, 2020. And it was in this amazing flat in East London, and it was life transforming. And ever since then, I've been a Huna, and just really cool to go to all of these amazing places around the planet and bring in the Lemurian codes. And it's been an incredible journey. So I left my 30-year career about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And I've been wandering, like, the Israelites, wandering through the desert, wondering, what am I here for? I'm definitely not supposed to be an architect and an urban designer, and I'm not supposed to be a consultant. So what am I supposed to be? And and then at last, in October last year, I got literally fell in my lap. I'm really kind of bringing all my skill sets from being an academic into the world of spirituality, and that's what's really, really exciting. And I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve all spiritual leaders, light workers, star seeds, healers, anyone who really feels a calling to amplify their medicine. That's what I'm about.
And we really, really need that right now. Very much so.
Yeah.
There's so much super intelligence we have within our families and our communities that are ready to shine through, and allow that really awesome power of nature, which is super intelligence.
I also think, Huna and Erin, I think you both kind of are talking about this shift that's happening, and more people wanting to really know more because of this mass awakening. And I think more and more healers are going to be in demand. We're going to find people seek answers, seeking the truth. And so we need to be ready to have our medicine available online, in person, events, podcasts, you name it. We need to be there, present.
Absolutely. If you could, and by the way, I want to thank you for that incredible video that you made. But I would like if you could share the journey to the Nascar or Nascar.
Yeah.
So we can touch on this. And I think that Erin can also, when she hears it, there's something that she's channeling in from the elders.
Yeah, well, the ancestors were definitely there. So on my wanderings, I was in Central and South America for about 7 months, and I was in touch with Huna most of the time. And I said to him I was going to Bolivia, to Lake Titicaca for the winter. No, it's actually the solstice in the southern hemisphere. So it was summer solstice, and so he said, "We'll take the water." And so I got a bottle of Lake Titicaca water. And for people who don't know, Lake Titicaca is a super, super high energy point, a really amazing place. I'm sure there's a Stargate there in Huna. Am I right?
Stargate 17 is in Lake Titicaca.
Yeah, very super place.
That, by the way, that's the Hummingbird Stargate.
Well, it all seems to be weaving together so beautifully. So I told him I was heading to Peru and I was going to go to the Nascar lines. And he said, "We'll take the water because I want you to do a water weaving ceremony. And I want you to do it on the spider geoglyph." Now, I don't know if anybody is aware, but I mean, Nascar, basically, the geoglyphs can only be seen from the air while you're in a plane. So I get to Nascar and I have to go in this rickety plane to just locate where the spider is. And it's this massive geoglyph in the territory. And I have to spot a landmark so I can get to the spider.
Wow.
And I discover that there is a sign on the road, which is a very busy road. It's the Pan American Highway. And I've got to climb up this hill of sand to get to the plateau. Anyway, I'm determined. I've got the water, I've got my crystals, I've got my singing bowl, I've got everything. And I'm there. I get the taxi to drop me off because you're not allowed to go on the Nascar lines, right? You're not allowed to walk on them. And I'm climbing up this hill, carrying everything on my back, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this again? You, Huna, it's you. I get there, I get to the top, and I'm literally walking these lines. They're like song lines. The ancestors were talking, and I was walking towards the sunset. And with my dowser and my dowsing rods, I found the center of the spider. And then I held ceremony there, and it was absolutely magnificent. I mean, just beyond. It's hard to put into words, but it was a great moment. And yeah, what does that mean, Huna? Could you explain to us exactly what that meant?
Well, there was the weaving.
Yeah.
The spider's weaving. The spider weaves both below, up and up, above, and below and above. The spider weaves. These are the grandmothers. This is the grandmother weaving. Okay, the grandmother spider, the spider represents the grandmother's weaving in the universe, and the water very important because beneath that, the Nascar there's an incredible aquifer of water under there, and there are and the whales down in there are crystal whales. They are jade whales that swim in there. The jade whales swim in there, so they take the codings, they bring the codes, and they share through all the lines across the planet. And I know that the jade whales are there. I released a jade whale in the Mississippi that came out in the Gulf of Mexico, came down through the water beneath Peru, beneath Machu Picchu, because the alignment to Mississippi is with Machu Picchu. And beneath that, the broad spectrum of avenues, portals or channels towards the Stargate, like Stargate 17 with the Hummingbird and the Nascar. I refer to the Nascar, and then the weaving. So yeah, it's a convergence of a lot of energy there.
Yeah. The ancestors were very present, and also just learning that under all of that desert is a whole series of rivers and tributaries, and it's incredible. Like the whole Nazca civilization was built on water, not in the desert.
Not on the desert. No.
Yeah, amazing.
So thank you for that. Now, Erin, is there something does anything pop through to you from?
Mainly
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I've been soaking everything in. I feel this collective asking that people here really want you to speak to the hummingbird, the medicine of the hummingbird, and the astrological significance that is I guess it would be the parallel representation of Aquarius, but in the higher light form and system.
You're asking me?
Both of you, whoever wants to speak to the, that's not, I don't have a lot of knowledge in that area, but I just know there's a collective asking about the hummingbird medicine.
So good. Ma Ha Na, do you have, I will
no,
absolutely
please,
speak to you.
It'll be much good from you.
Well, Stargate number 17 is at the Temple of the Sun frequency was set. As you know, number 17 is also the letter Q in the transference of energy for the planet and the support of everything for everyone, everywhere, every day. Okay, that's the E4 equals MC cubed. That coding comes through Stargate 17, transmitted into the understanding of Q, where it's transmitted into the sacred governance for the planet. Now, that Stargate 17 is why I refer to it as the Hummingbird Stargate. Is also the entire South America is a continent, is one of 12 continents, and that continent is its representation. Its birth sign carries the birth sign, and the birth sign is the hummingbird. Now, you would say Calibri, and on the Nascar, there is the hummingbird glyphs and lines on the Nascar. Also, there is what is known as the flute of 7 notes, which is a hummingbird flute, and it's 7 lava portals, 7 tiny volcanoes in a row, in a line along the mountains, and I forget the name of the mountains, but it goes down to Patagonia, and it crosses between Bolivia and Peru. And there are 7 lava channels, and they each have a certain tone when the wind passes across them. And that's what we refer to the tiny voice from heaven is these particular frequencies. So it is also my birth sign, which again, I was saying earlier, the hummingbird position of my birth sign is in the same location on the Draconian in February of Aquarius. And we shared earlier how Aquarius is it water or is it breath? And I've always been with, no, it's the voice of the tiny voice from heaven. necessarily a hummingbird, but it is the tiny voice from heaven that speaks to us all through the ancestorship, through the land, the water, the sky, through the nature, and connected through, as we are on the ground, the constellations are on the ground with us. We look above the constellations, we can see they mirror each other. So it not only is it as above as below, but it also is below is above. Because in the Lemurian, the constellations refer to the medicine. Okay, it's the universal, omniverse medicine that is on the ground, that is also seen above. And as above, you can bring it into yourself if you're on the ground. Now, through the Hummingbird Stargate, and this, like I said earlier, many, but that particular location, as you know, the Hummingbird, the continent of Tirani Motu, there's an abundance of medicine on the ground there, right? And there's a lot of stories to talk about there, but that the land, the water, the sky, it was a reinitiation of you and your connection to it all. As the elders will also speak to you about this over there. So the hummingbird, there's a protocol, there's a ceremony of the hummingbird. When before I go into a forest, and I always have, and some of the Hunas know this story. If you heard this before, Hunas, don't worry. I know you're probably sick of hearing it, but I'm going to say it again. And I confirmed this ceremony, right? I confirmed it from the Valley of Fire in Nevada, where you must ask for permission to enter the forest. And the one to ask is the hummingbird. Why? A hummingbird will come out no matter if it's winter in February, March. If it is to be for important request that's being made, and it's very, very mysterious, and it's very, very, it's confirmation and affirmation that the hummingbird will approach you during winter, which it never does, by the way. Never do you see a hummingbird come out in the winter. But if a hummingbird comes out in the winter and you have asked for permission to enter the forest, it'll be with a hummingbird with the red ruby chest and the bright green cloak wings. I call it the cloak. This is what happened when I was in the Yuba forest, in the Yuba River, in the forest in Sierra Nevada, when I asked permission to enter the forest. So I know it took 3 months for me to get an answer from the hummingbird. I had to be very patient. Put the message up in 11 a.m. from January 1, 2014, 15. I sent a message I called the hummingbird, said, can I have permission to enter the forest in Nevada City, in the Sierra Nevada? I never got the message back, the reply directly. It came to somebody else who had a visit from a hummingbird that winter. It came to her. She doesn't feed the hummingbird. She doesn't put bird food out. And he came out in the winter once and says, oh, there's like 3 of them. And she called me and said, oh, there's hummingbirds all over my patio, and it's winter and snowing. They never come out. And I said, oh, good, thank you. Bye. I hung up. I was, oh, let's go. So what do you say to these things? You know, I can only share with you. Go and stand at the edge of the forest and ask permission to enter. You know, the ancestors will abide, and the hummingbird will be I called it the boss. When you see the ruby red chest with the bright green wings, I call that one the boss. That is the one that gives you authority. When you do enter all trees, when you make your request of what your intentions are to offer for humanity, the elder tree, if you're standing by a river and you know which one is the elder tree, that elder tree will turn to look at you because that's what you have to do. The next move is to go to talk to the elder tree. But that elder tree won't comply with you directly. It will play with you. Right? So it'll send energies to you and deflect you to another tree. That's what this one did to me in the Yuba River, just to keep deflecting me. But once it recognizes you, and you have to be very firm, I'm here, I have authority, you have to listen. And then when I put my foot down after a few times, it turned, the whole tree spun. Like, I'm not kidding. if you look at a massive tree, just spins and looks at you like, wow, like, ooh-wee, what magnetic energy it has. I had a special request for this moment, so I wasn't backing off. I knew I had to do this, and it was being requested by the land and by the ancestors on the land. And what I had to do then, and I had to request, I said, I gave thanks, and I gave the offering of the jade and food. I said thank you, and the Kotahara crystal. I said thank you, and the voice said, "What do you want?" In a kind of a way. I said, "You have to place the codes from the seal of the Kumara across all lands on the turtle island, to beginning with the turtle, so that the codes can be shared to all lands on this planet." And it complied. It felt like a big, huge energy of recognition to receive the seal of the Kumara and the Lemurian codes to be placed on the land. And that year, after that took place, I can tell you thousands of people came to get the seal since then. And at recognition, okay, so what is your intention? What is your mission? I know, I listen very carefully. I understand what I'm doing here. I understand what you're doing here. I understand Mahana. I understand Erin. I understand sweet, sweet dear ones that are all here. Everybody is doing their pieces, doing their work. But I just remind you, when you go to a forest, give thanks to, and be patient. If you're not able to enter directly, you're going to have to wait a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But this is part of your lesson, your learning, and patience and compassion. Have all of that. Right? So I know that that is a protocol ceremony for the hummingbird, and a very powerful recognition of who you are, and who they recognize you, and then the land and the water, the sky, they know who you are when you make requests and you ask for this and you ask for that, or you don't ask, you say, you make the request. We don't pray for the things. I make a request, and then I don't get it. I stomp my foot till I get it. That's just me. Okay, that's just me. Like I said, I'm like a bull in a china shop sometimes.
Warrior
and
Right?
So,
but that's also passion birthed from your love to serve, which is why the request is answered and supported.
And that has been quite a few decades now. We've been talking to each other, communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So the age of Aquarius in Lemuria, there's choices, sweet, sweet dear ones. There's a choice been offered. There's 13 months, 28 days, 13 months within the Lemurian system. There are full 28 days. There's not a split in the month. There's 1 to 28. Then there's the next alignment. They don't have to be called months. They're actually not. No such thing as months.
Cycles.
Seasons of love, we refer.
I like that.
Seasons of love, or cycles of love.
They each have their medicine, and I think that's the nice thing as well, that they have something.
Absolutely.
So we're currently in the hare.
We're in the hare, yes. We're in the birth sign of this month, which is the hare, the oversized rabbit. Very powerful. The big rabbit. The location of the hare in its continent that its medicine is upon is Scandinavia, all across the Nords. And if you talk to Vikings and the Nord families and that, they will tell you about the blue rabbit medicine that they carry, their shamans carry on their pouch. They have a blue rabbit. Very powerful medicine. And the alignments are incredible. Like I didn't know about the Viking medicine, but I went and because activated the Stargates there. They're all complete, by the way. All 4 Stargates are now complete in that region. That was a lot because we just came back from Stargate 22, which was the final one for Scandinavia for the hare. So, the hare is speaking. It carries the Lion's Gate from the part of December into January 8th. The energy is purging, we shared about that, as you know, in our recent show. And now we're going to be coming into my birthday, which is next week, and which is the Hummingbird. We're coming into the tiny voice from heaven. There's a lot to say. We got a lot of shit. Oh boy, there's.
Well, your voice isn't very tiny, Huna.
Sometimes I say tiny, not so tiny. Okay? But it's our collective voice, as you know.
Oh yeah.
I must represent. I must represent.
There's a huge, as you were sharing your beautiful explanation of the hummingbird medicine, the spirit of the hummingbird began downloading the codes of their medicine, and it has a lot to do with organic sound technology, and that the angelics were showing me the vocal cords of the hummingbird, and those are quite literally instruments of heaven, which is why the sound, it is so crystalline, it is so, there's just a purity that reverses any disharmonic rhythm in the ecosystem. And so when birds sing or hum, what actually happens is there's like a what we call a somata under the leaves of plants and such, and they open up, allowing the transference of the oxygen and the carbon monoxide. So they're really governing this symbiotic rhythm of life. So that is why they are the gatekeepers and the guardians of nature, the forest, the ecosystem. And so we're going into that cycle, that return back to a harmonic ecosystem where we understand the supreme intelligence of nature, that the intelligence was already embedded in how things materialized, how they were seeded, how they were planted to blossom. That's what they've been giving me.
You put that so eloquently. What an incredible sharing and explanation and description. Mahana.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Mahana? Can I ask you to share what takes place during the seal?
Sure. So Huna talks to you for a while and literally downloads your Huna name. And he has thousands of Hunas that he's sealed, but he remembers every single one. And
sometimes I have to be reminded, but yeah, mostly.
But for example, my Huna name, Ma Ha Na, it stands for the abundance of first light and the abundance of first breath, which is super, super beautiful. And he confirms a number of things about your essence. Like for me, for example, he reconnected me to the Queen code, which I carry, and also to Tefnut the Sphinx in Egypt. So he really kind of sources your entire essence, and he sits you down and he shows you the Lemurian planetary systems and their higher frequencies. He gives you a little bit of background because I'm particularly connected to Sirius B, which is in the higher Lemurian vibration called Kehu. And so I'm connecting on a much higher level already. And then he showed me these crystals and some beautiful crystal dust. Was that Kutahara?
Yes, that's the Kutahara. Yes.
A very sacred, high vibrational crystal dust or sand. And he allowed me to rearrange it in a certain way. And he said, that's the father, the mother, and the child being the light. We're saying it's the bridge between ourselves and our higher self. And then I closed my eyes, and he started to go into this really high-pitched voice, and it was like it was completely entering my energy system and rearranging my cellular makeup. And it was a lot of light codes were coming through as well from his voice, something I had never heard before. I mean, it's such a unique experience. And I totally felt upgraded. I felt I had completely changed my DNA makeup, and certainly wasn't the person who had walked through the door, half an hour earlier. So a really profound experience, Huna, and definitely was life transforming, because I felt I was working at a much higher vibration. And although it took some time for me to kind of adjust and integrate, I think my life has really dramatically changed. I mean, I've left my career. I've started traveling the world. I'm, completely independent. I mean, it's remarkable. And now I'm able to offer, coaching, this mentoring, and do it from anywhere in the world for anyone who feels called to amplify their medicine. So it's life transforming.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes. That frequency, right?
Yeah.
I perfected the channel for it. It took a couple of decades to perfect the channel for it, because it carries such power of the dragon energy. And it took me a little while. I mean, it was always very powerful. It can't, if you for me, if it's not channeled not correctly, it's always correct. But there was a time when, as I was getting used to it, that it's a broad bandwidth of information, so broad within multiple dimensions, 144 strand DNA dimensions within that sound, carrying all the information of the omniverses. That to bring it, which the dragons sweep those. When the dragons fly, they sweep the entire omniverse in one flight and simultaneously. So those dragon energies at that level, when I learned how to get the dragon energies and bring it into a pipe, a narrow pipe, which is like a jet stream, and it carries all of that energy, the dragon's energies from those, and it brings it into a jet stream, and I'm able to bring through high frequency resonance of what we call the koaironga, the koairaro, which means the upper jaw and the lower jaw. And there's a resonance in where you place your teeth, where you place your jaw. One is with breath and the other one is not with breath. So I learned how to sing without breath, in other words. And that frequency that sings without breath, it's authentic intelligence, so beyond the physical. It's not human. It's the part of me that is not human, but that it's in the human. It is possible. Although I would say to you, this initiation seal ceremony is quite exclusive to myself. I'm not bragging. I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just sharing with you. For the last 3 decades, I've been the only one doing this. And I know I travel the world doing it. And that frequency is something that had taken a lot of practice together. It is sound and light, and the light in the sound. It is so incredibly, and it's like, whoa, okay, next. Who's next? It's like, bam. I'm so used to it, And
So,
I can do this online and I do it in person as well. But there are a couple of things that come with it when you're doing it in person, where the energy.
so Huna, for those who may be unfamiliar with a seal, is it that energetically you're restructuring and upgrading their system to be able to hold the frequency, the new frequency?
Yes, there has to be a double density, recognition of double density within the structure. When you
Sure.
remember, and in an initiation system activates 12 strand DNA, it's actually 24. It's the 24 strand, 12 that is seen. If you are looking in a mirror, you will see who you are, just physically feminine. But there is also the masculine, which is the part you cannot see, but you can feel and you recognize.
Mhm.
So what you're looking at is not just 12 strand DNA of the feminine, it's 24 strand DNA of what is seen and felt, and then also what is not seen but felt. And that recognition activates 24 strand DNA. And in that, the body recognizes double density, which means that you might notice, you may have noticed in the last few years, your weight, although you haven't gotten any bigger, but your weight density in your structure has gotten heavier. It's gotten a little heavier. It's crystallizing. That's the crystallizing of your skeletal structure is receiving the crystals, and they are heavier than your bones. Right? And so that's being activated. Now, that's what's being activated as I'm doing it. There's a physical kinetic energy. There is the remembering and the activation and initiation of all of this, which what we call the Waidua. So the Waidua is being activated into your remembering that higher level of your superpowers and activating all the incredible DNA structures that you do have in your nine senses. Your nine senses come alive. Your nine senses come alive. That's just the beginning. That's the basics. That's where we are naturally at. That's not any like way up. It is way up there, but that's just naturally what we are. And this was a confusing part in the civilizations of the Draconian did not want you to remember as we all say, they don't want us to remember this or that, but I share it this way. Okay, I share it this way. This is what I share. Okay, your activation of your super connections to the super nature of land, water, sky. Know that you speak, and there are earthquakes. You speak, there's a flood. You speak, there's a fire. There is no fire unless you fuel the fire. Fire does not exist unless you say so or you fuel it. Okay, unless you fuel it, you might be lightning. Bam, there's a fire. You strike a match, there's a fire. You get fuel and you light it. So that's quite a bit different than just saying, okay, the fire is an element that does not exist until you light it. And that is called intention. Not just manifestation. That is your word. Your word is fire. You carry the breath of fire. Not just in the oxygen, but telepathically. Your thought can also light it. You combine them both, and you're combining your masculine feminine balance into an archetype of 0 point crystallization, 0 type archetype. That's what I refer to as the 0 archetype. It's double density. Very powerful. We can barely fit in our bodies. We can barely fit. We had to really adjust the frame. Some of us are deformed even in this lifetime now. I'm quite different. You could say I'm deformed, maybe even mental. But I have larger organs than most, but because I was once a giant. But we all were. We're bringing everything in, and so that's being remembered. You're being remembered. You're remembering. I'm supporting that remembering of you. Yeah.
I'm feeling that many people here with their system upgrading and crystallizing. The body needs some support, and more specifically, the light body needs to expand, which is something I do a lot in my personal sessions with people, is expanding the light body so they can keep up with the expansion. Are there any light codes that can be offered? I feel some light codes wanting to come through for me, but wondering if I'm not sure if Huna Ma Ha Na, if you do that type of thing as well, but would love to share that. I think a lot of people here need. I'm hearing this is sort of a charging station for many of the souls who have gathered around this conversation, and we can give them we can give them some fuel, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, yes.
For you, Mahana, that was certainly a charge, and you've been charging across the planet and excited about the places where you used to be so long ago. You're revisiting perhaps, or they're new, or the experience of life for your life. What is life? This experience, it is ready now for being such a beautiful life. It is ready now for that. You get prepared. Did you join the Dragon Masters, Mahana?
I did. Yes, I'm halfway through. I'm at the Puata.
The Puata. Great.
Yeah, practice my martial arts move.
Could you share a bit about that? When Erin is asking about codes, as you know, there's a ton of them in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Dragon Masters is the program where you really begin to tune into the high frequency codes, and also the Lemurian operating system as a whole. And within them, there's so many different aspects. The core one is the Mahawakata Hita Kamawaha, which is the kind of the login, the core Lemurian codes that we use when we go to ceremony. But there's also many other combinations as well of sounds where you instead of the months that we're accustomed to in the Gregorian system, you're actually going to a higher frequency and taking two sounds and making that into a new vibration. I don't know if I'm doing a good job here, Huna.
I mean, you're on the right track here. You'll graduate this June, right? But so the Mahakawatahi Tawakahama means to there and back again. It's a continuum codes. You moving in counterclockwise at 2 times the speed of this planet, just as you're in ceremony. When we are in ceremony with the codes, as we log in, we move 2 times the speed of the planet counterclockwise, which means we disappear. Which means we will disappear on camera. We are there, but we will disappear on electronic devices. Means we'll be undetectable. When you move into that, you are inside the continuum. And from in the continuum, you are accessing more codes to apply to the particular situation of what is being asked for. So in other words, when we're working outside of light, when we move into that series of codes. And this, there are a few types of ceremonies, okay, or protocols, or programming, if you wish, just to speak. And there are tools for cracking open the planet and moving energy, dropping higher frequencies into it, and then closing up the planet. That's cosmic. They call it. I enjoyed this bit because I learned this from the planet engineers. You know, planet engineers. They fly by here occasionally in a green comet. The green comet is a starship, and they are known as the planet engineers. They drop blessings into the planet, and they often they'll stop, shoot by here. Hey, we're just coming by to drop a blessing in the planet. I'm like, great, keep going. I've known them for a long time to speak to them as the planet engineers, because we work for the nature. We work for the nature of the planet. And so these codes have certain ceremonies that go with them for us on the ground. They're in the Dragon Masters. They're incredible. Their practices. The practices are very, you'll be surprised, very simple, but very precise, very accurate. Quantum, of course. And, again, your 9 senses are activated, so you're operating in a your higher self on the ground, literally, best we can on the ground, literally. It's not just a connection to your higher self. You are your higher self within these moments on the ground. You're here. In other words, you're here. You become present in those particular moments. And then, of course, when you're not in it and you're doing that, you're on vacation at the beach, like I am down the road here. I'm going to the beach after this. Going to have an ice cream. So you have this moment take this coach, do the thing, get in and out, safe and sound, and everybody makes it home nice and everyone's happy. You celebrate the ceremony and close it with a meal, as you do. That's our way. And things are being done. Now, remember, you are ahead of schedule and you are from the future. So oftentimes you might have to be patient to watch all the news, check on things as they start coming through, and what the changes are taking place on the planet, because you are affecting them. You are affecting them. Everybody's got their little bits that they're doing. The House of Huna and the Hunas are just very, very active light in action. Very active, just crazy all over the planet. Typically 4 or 5 countries in a month. Next month, or March, end of March, and in April we go into massive schedule of activations and work for we're closing up a couple of dark portals, which we call the two-headed snake, dark tunnels of Amsterdam and Azores simultaneously. So 2 teams are working at the same time, both locations. So we're preparing the Hunas and getting ready for that. And yeah, these are the kind of things we do. But the Dragon Masters prepares you for these things to go into service beyond the self. And it's a fun way of walking the planet, I tell you. If you don't let it all get to you, it's like amazing.
Okay. So for myself, there are some beings here, and we've been recalibrating the field for some of you. And so you should feel lighter, feel a little bit more expansive. So just by being here, there are codes embedded within these transmissions because we're speaking from the higher heart and the higher heart just, it comes with the activation of your entire being. So I know some people were wanting like more of a transmission that we could deliver today, but it's already embedded in the conversation. So that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy your style of delivery to Erin on your shows. How you go through them meticulously. I'm a little bit like here and over there.
It's fine.
Is you over there? Yeah, that's, but actually, we should get a question if we can get someone to pop on. Sweet dear ones. The story, the how it rolls over here. You get the link. Tamaki, Huna Tamaki has provided the link. Come right onto the stream and ask either Erin or Ma Ha Na directly. Let them see you. Let us see you. Revealing, it might be tough for you to reveal yourself. I understand that. It's a big step, sweet dear ones. This is why I say sweet dear ones. Okay. I really do support your efforts. If you're able to come over and ask a question, we'll do the best we can to answer it. For those on the Grams of Instant, okay, we have somebody here right now. Katari Ho. It's one of the Hunas stopping in. Katari Ho. Okay.
Oh, no camera.
Katari Ho.
Kia ora.
Hey, kia ora. Good to be here, koe. Fiona.
Pai, rawe.
Nice.
I don't know where my camera is.
Your whakapakitia. Where's your mea? Karu.
Oh, okay.
Lost your eyes, your camera.
No. That's strange. Well, it's not strange, is it?
No, I suppose. Upgrades, eh? The camera needs upgrades.
Kia ora. I don't have my
I'll walk up if you're okay, you can go ahead.
Maybe just the voice.
Maybe
good. Only my voice today. I don't know why that is.
Maybe it'll pop in if you continue on.
If I just try to stop it.
This is Huna Ripeka. She's from New Zealand. Her Huna is Katari Ho. And, she's still
there's a
with us.
question I see from one of my dear friends, and she says she wants to know if you're coming to Hawaii and what the connection is there. And specifically, she's in Kauai.
Kauai. Yes, I've been to Hawaii. I'm an elder of Hawaii, as well as I'm uncle to the Kahunas there as well, through my lineage of our associations. And I do need to return and have another meeting with the Kahunas. We have a lot to talk about. Mostly I go to Maui, but because that's where I activated the Stargate, was in Maui. But Kauai is also another waiting for me to return there. I was teaching and sharing a lot in Kauai a number of years back over there in Honolulu, and Kauai simply means also means the upper jaw of the grandmother. Okay? The jawbone of the grandmother. That's what Kauai means. Oh, we have another person is able to. Victoria, greetings.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Very good, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I just wanted to say hello, and I'm taking your beautiful dragon course, and I'm
Oh,
myself in the wonderful codes. And I did want to share you were one of the questions you asked the lovely ladies there when they first realized the activation. I had my major activation in 1984. It was what did you call it? Compassion,
DC.
EC. Yeah,
Dispensational compassion.
yeah, it was amazing thing. I sang at the 1984 Summer Olympic Games, and it was a moment in time, and the world came together and all held hands, and we sang this song, "Reach Out and Touch." And anyway, it was something extraordinary.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give my love to you all. I'm so
Well,
happy to
thank you.
be part of the community. And I did have a question, because I'm very interested in the northern Russia Stargate, and I wanted to ask you about Anastasia, because I was really activated by those books, the Ringing Cedars of Russia. Are you familiar?
The Bolsheviks, Anastasia, the princess or the queen.
No, there was an activation. They say Russia will be one of the first like major. Well, it's happening already. People are coming out of the cities and they're going back to the land, and so
Yes.
these books called the Ringing Cedars of Russia. They were written in the 1990s. The first one is called Anastasia, and
Okay.
way up the Tig River. In is anybody here online know what I'm talking about?
Is that up by Archangelisk City, up by the White Sea?
It's up in
Oh,
Siberia.
yeah, up in St. Petersburg, above St. Petersburg.
Well, anyway, so I'm very interested because these books that were written were very activating. The codes that were in the language talking about sounded like Lemurian kind of lore.
Yes, the Lemurian, like in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Siberia, the languaging within the Russian, there's little bits of it that are Lemurian. When I was in Estonia, I noticed that the written text and then in the sounds when they were speaking, like, hey, I know that sound, and even then it was a sign I saw outside a store that said okapi. And I went, what? What's an okapi doing here? That's the forest giraffe from Africa. And that is also a part of the Lemurian language through Africa. So in Siberia, I do have had a couple of associates that one was was tutored by the grandmother shamans in Siberia, and when she sings, I am totally in line with Lemuria when she's singing. So, but I suppose the book would be interesting to take a look at the book.
Yeah, there's a series of them.
Well, I agree. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just so happy to meet you, and just want to
Thank
say,
you.
Wawa.
Wawa.
And
Okay, we got a lineup happening here.
in Mexico. I will be in Mexico in June.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
excited about that. Yeah.
We'll see you at your graduation in June here in
Yeah.
Mexico.
Bye-bye.
Wawa. Okay, Katari Ho said,
Well-
I'm going to line up here, but go ahead. I can't see you though, so.
Kia ora,
Yeah.
Huna. I'm trying to swap computers so I can jump on and video, but I do. Kia ora, everybody. Thank you for your live. It's been beautiful today. But my question, and I just so yesterday in New Zealand on the peninsula, there was a pod of whales stranded up at Mahia, or they tried to strand at Mahia, and the whānau all went out and helped refloat them. But then they came back into strand again, just at a more isolated bay, and all of them have passed away. So my question around that,
wow.
Huna, is, well, what's your perspective on it? It's interesting that you brought up the jade whale today, and are they part of the 22 billion souls that have to transfer? Is that a way that we can integrate that, or because how do you?
Absolutely.
That?
We are all here, even though we go there. We are all here. And so it is something that we have to get used to emotionally. When the whales seem to sacrifice their light so that the life can continue. And it does. And it's part of the 22 billion. I can't give you the full list of the guest list for the 22 billion souls. I wouldn't attempt that at all and stay away from that one. But they're not just human, all beings, right? All beings. So yes, our heart goes to the Tohoroa, as you know, and the Toho, and of course aligned to the Stargate, which is He'a, which is the Stargate Kahu. The whale Stargate is active right now. Absolutely. So they are entering into the expanded omniverse to offer their medicine back in through the constellations on the ground. You access them. And of course, once you're accessing them, means they haven't gone anywhere. They're just out of sight.
Thank you. I think that the reason, obviously, we're at first light here in Aotearoa. So, yes. Would you feel like it is a tohu that we're going to see some of these happenings, which feel stressful, maybe at the time, but as all of these timelines, and we are in the age of Lemuria, and if you've followed the Kali Yuga, we're in the transition to the time of peace. All of these things, are we going to see more? Well,
it is a cycle of love. It is the seasons of love, starting from First Light New Zealand. This aligned to the Wataka, the Lemurian calendar, or the Pleiadian calendar, how you want to say it, because it starts from the first light zone. It starts from when Pleiades moves up from the southern hemisphere in its visual and moves up to December. That's where we start our new year. And so in that cycle, the Lemurian system, yes, we'll experience this incredible bridge energy that's bridging us over. Okay, they are helping to bridge us. It was always said that the whale and the dolphin will help bridge. It's part of the rainbow bridge.
So it was a group of whales and dolphins.
Well, the whales are dolphins, and dolphins are whales. They are not separate. A whale is a dolphin, and a dolphin is a whale. Look at the maki. When you look at the orca, that is a whale and a dolphin. Okay.
So now I can sort out.
They might have different names, but to my understanding, they are twins to each other. Energies. Oh, we have a big lineup here. We're gonna get another question in. Huna, thanks for visiting. Look well. Good to see you. Big smiles, big wawas, and aroha nui to everybody. Aotearoa, miss it immensely. My birthday next month, and my cousin is showing up too from Tauranga. He's from Tauranga, so I'm looking forward to that.
Now I can hear you and see you all. Thank you.
Aroha nui. Okay, we've got
wawa nui, ka kite.
Wawa ka kite. Matewa. Okay, Lisa Free Feather. What a wonderful title. Free Feather. Do you have a
Thank
question
you.
for Erin or Mahana there, Lisa?
Yes, hello everyone. Gosh, I feel so just moved being here. So thank you. My question is, and I don't know if this is more in alignment with the future show that you talked about with the Stargates, but I'm just wondering how relevant is like our geolocations for each individual? Like, is there anything significant about where we're at on the planet at this time that relates to our spiritual unfolding? My parents, I feel like, came from great lengths to come to this one particular town that I'm born in, and none of my family is from here. But I also, kind of feel like I'm not supposed to leave, and I don't know why. And I kind of want to leave. I have a love-hate relationship with New York. So that's one of the things I'm just kind of wondering.
Oh, New York.
I'll leave that open for the lovely ladies to answer, converse with.
Are you in New York City?
I am.
I lived there for 7 years. Many portals in New York, and while it can be a dense place, it is a very energetically active place. And so people who are upholding the crystalline grid, many of us are either caught there at some point or need to stay there to balance out the energy. So from what I can see for you, you feel a connection to that place in that space because you're helping to uphold the grids there. But it won't be permanent from what I can see.
Light is needed everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
And
thank
that's
you
where
for
everyone here,
that.
where everyone is geographically, it's by design. Your inner being, your higher self has you there for a reason. Sometimes where you're geographically located even brings up the karma or the energetic reconciliation that you need to process and go through to move into higher levels of light. The people who are there, the things you're engaging with, they're all bringing things out of you or bringing things up within your current cycle so you can transmute them. So energetically, the environment will activate whatever higher light needs to sort of like cleanse, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
And thank you for your work,
Yeah, thank
your
you.
courage.
Yeah, and every time I leave out of the city, there's a whole different feeling when I come back in. I know it's so dense, and so I so appreciate it. And thank you, Erin. I have been doing a lot of your work on the back end too. So
Amazing.
all right.
Thank you, honey.
Lisa.
Blessings. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Tadeo, how are ya?
Hi, Huna.
Hey, I want to apologize because remember where was I? Was it in the UK? No. Didn't I bump into you and I couldn't talk because I was like
Not
running to a
yet. Not yet
on
in person.
Not yet. Oh, I thought I did. I thought I ran into you at the airport and I was running on the phone somewhere in the UK. Anyway, welcome. Thanks
Maybe
for
in the
visiting.
dream time, but I had a quick question.
Is
I know
all
for some of the people that follow you, they hear, you're speaking codes of the login, Maha Kawatahi, Ma being the first light. My question is, what is prior to that? Like you say, from the silence comes the sound. What about the
Yes.
first sound?
First light is before confusion. What is before that? What is before confusion? We know ourselves. It's very interesting, this question, because we went back in time to create ourselves. And when that happened, we advanced to the future simultaneously. all in one. When that intention, thought, which is beyond, outside of light, which is where you're talking about, sometimes referred to as te kore, which is the nothingness, then the light comes. So from the intention of thought, which is also, remember earlier we were talking about the word. The word is not only spoken, the word is also thought. It is transmitted. So before first light, the thought and the notion was that I can create myself. What am I going to create? So advancing so far forward and so far back that, okay, this is what, and then seeing the entirety of it in one instant, and then living through it and coming through it, and then coming into the first light, and then from the first light, which is energy, the spark, the energy, into the breath, to create the breath, to come into form, many forms. We were not just human, like we're planets as well. We're also universes. We're galaxies. We are bigger than the sun. We are the sun. All of it. It's just, and are we remembering it and rediscovering this? Certainly. Are we continue to create from that first thought? Yes, we are. And as the child enters, continues to enter, the child of light. For me, the child of light is the most eternal, the most infinite. Is our light continues from the thought, then from the thought. Thought is energy, thought is power, thought is source, thought, intention. Thought, not no thought, even no thought. So learn everything to learn nothing. Right? Somebody said, "Oh, you got to nothing." Well, but to learn nothing is to learn what is everything. Okay, fine. We're going to go through it all. You've been. What is before first light? You. You are before your thought. You were before your light, before your breath, before the firstborn. Ma, first light. Ha, first breath. Ka, firstborn. Wa, first love. Ta, first stone. He, first fire. Okay, and then back again. Mahakawatahi, tawakahama. And there's a continuum. Mahakawatahi, tawakaha, mahakawatahi, tawakaha, mahakawatahi, tawakaha, mahakawatahi, tawakaha, mahakawatahi. Gets smaller and smaller. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
If I could expand on that,
yes,
I hear the Great Spirit Source giving me it before the first thought, breath and light, and even sound was isness, just simply isness without desire, just isness, it just is. And then arose the desire to know itself deeper, the infinity, what it could be, all of the boundless forms and expressions of what energy could morph into, shift into, transform into, and become. But before that was just pure isness, the eternal now. And this is all happening now. It is now, where the past, present, the future become one. That is the eternal moment before the original desire to become. There was no need to become until there was the desire to become something. There was just nothing. The womb, the void of all that is, was, and ever shall be. And that's what we all are, the formless becoming form over and over and over and over and over again, recycling energy.
Yes.
You are a vibration. Everyone here is a vibration, a frequency. Now, expressed in personality. But when personality is stripped down, you are just the eternal vibration, resonance of energy cycling through timelessness, but also time.
The most infinite light of the child. I call the Big Bang occasionally. I like that. I think we're the Big Bang. I honestly say now, I think we're the Big Bang. Thank you, Huna. Matatokere.
One more quick, if there's time. When you say the first bang in Lemurian, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Lemurian, would you speak to that as umu unu?
Yes.
The first sound, the first wave, if you want to say.
Yes, we can speak to the umu unu this way. The umu is which is the birth. There's an intention. There's still intention to birth. Umu also meaning the oven, the birthing channel, the oven, the womb. Okay, so but there was a womb. Where'd the womb come from? Where'd the womb come from? Umu unu, where the womb come from? So for me, the Big Bang suggests this is why I say, but before confusion, before first light, is all of us, is that coming into existence, into the form. Before light, before breath. Yeah, it's so multidimensional, right? You cannot go linear on this. There's no like two-dimensional perspective on a multi-dimensional understanding. We have to be outside of light and to look into it, and you could speak it, you know it, you could feel it. So the 9 senses can do that. You're tuning into the 9 senses because words cannot. I cannot speak that in the English because it's not really mean what it says, right? And then so in the sounds is ni, umu, uru, the navigation, the uru, enter and return, the uru, the enter and return, mahakawatahi tawakahama, donato ke waho wahi, which represents that enter and return of the form to the formless. Donato ke waho wahi, these sounds. Then it comes down, then all the sounds go, and next thing you know, one sound is all sound and knowing.
Thanks for letting me ask a question and pop through. I'm going to jump off so someone else can jump in.
Thank you so much, Una. Good to see you. Fantastic. Sahaza, is it?
Asma.
I got, okay, sorry, Sahaza. What about me? I'm going to switch you. Okay, sorry. I got to switch you because it's like, okay. Now, Sahaza, I meant to, because I see the line up here.
Greetings, great one. Greetings, Erin. And you see is Ma Ha Na. Greetings to y'all. I was waiting. I started getting emotional. I just listened to you. I follow you, Erin, a lot. And now Huna Flash, I follow you. And I was just had a question. I had put it in the chat because I was kind of bashful of getting on the screen. And I want to know, do I go and travel or do I go on a retreat? Because I have beginning downloads. I've been having a lot of different abilities for a long time. Just speaking about it makes me want to cry because I've been hiding myself, right? And I want to know, like Great Mother and sources telling me to travel. And I don't want to let go of this, I guess, worldly things that really doesn't, I don't know. I don't know if I should travel. So I'm asking y'all because I'm channeling, I'm getting downloads, and the prophetic information that I'm getting is so overwhelming. I feel like I'm gonna combust. As you see, I can't even open the windows because like our fade kind of in the background. So I just want to like get advice from y'all. I know maybe it's a lot and I'm rambling because I'm nervous.
I'd like to share my experience with you traveling, actually, because it's been a calling. I don't know if you feel you've got a calling, and also got a calling to certain parts of the planet, because like we were talking earlier, Erin so eloquently, the Earth is calling us in different places, and in exchange, like the Earth wants our imprint, but at the same time, she's giving us something for our own journey.
Mhm.
And I call this conscious travel because it really is a dance with the planet. You know, we're actually in a conversation, if you like, and actually it's been transformational for me because although there have been extremely positive experiences, I also had an existential crisis on my travels as well, which exactly what I needed. It was a death moment, and I was
Mhm.
born, and it literally the earth held me. I happened to be in Guatemala, in the most beautiful of places, with
Mhm.
the lake and the volcanoes and the sky, and it was just the perfect place to
Yeah.
have an existential crisis.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm so passionate about that. I've started another offering, which I call High Earth Academy, and it's for conscious travel. It's for us transitioning into our path to use the planet and its energies to guide us. And I would support people on that journey. So I'd love to talk to you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that because I feel like following you, Erin, and a couple of others, and now you introduced the great one to us, and I'm so appreciative. And it's like holding in all of this energy, this sun. It's like I can touch and turn on lights. There's so much things happening to me that I'm almost afraid of myself.
Oh,
Oh, well, and thank you for
Yeah, thank y'all
giving
so much.
yourself and coming on. I know how terrifying that can be for us, but
Yeah.
what I'm hearing for you is that you should begin approaching your journey through the curiosity of your inner child. And this is what Source calls the love of the spirit. The
Mm-hmm.
spirit itself, in its true essence, has a love for experience and expansion. And you don't want to look at this as there's this expectation over me for me to perform. That's what it feels like a little bit. Like if I stay, I'm not fulfilling my mission, or if I don't do this, or if we want
Yes.
to dissolve that. We want to move from the pure joy and
Mm-hmm.
curiosity of the inner child, the infinite child of light, to expand, experience, and be present with what your soul is doing here now. You could be anywhere. You could be anywhere throughout the great omniverse, but you're here. See that as a gift and an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for spirit to reveal to you beauty and abundance and love and harmony. And like Mahana shared with us that she was held, that earth held her. This
Yeah.
is an initiation for you to allow yourself to be held. Everywhere you go becomes home. The mind will tell us, well, I'm leaving home, so how can I know? How can I trust? How can I find security? But it's that wherever you go,
Mm-hmm.
spirit, source, and the planet herself can support you there. That's what this is going to be about for you. And
Oh,
do
nice.
it incrementally. Sometimes we feel
Yes.
this overwhelming pressure to jump off the cliff.
Right.
Maybe it's I'm going to travel for a week and then I'm going to come home, and then that
Mm-hmm.
calibrates the nervous system to be able to hold that. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm going to go somewhere for a month, and then it evolves and it expands, and then you are this version of yourself
Mm-hmm.
that can maybe be a little bit more nomadic.
Right.
Increment baby steps. Because if we're overwhelmed, we can become paralyzed and take no steps. We have to work around our own fear sometimes.
It's funny you say that, because I feel like that in this human state. No matter what I've done, no matter where I've worked, and have worked with the top 500, it doesn't satisfy me like speaking with Source or helping others, where I've poured out so much. Like, I've been told over and over in downloads to go, and I'm like, oh, but I'm not going to have this great job, or I'm not going to give everybody my everything. So I'm really, really grateful for y'all sound advice. And as scary it is for me, like, I'm going to go ahead and take a leap.
Thank you,
Thank y'all
Saharaza.
so much. Blessings.
Wawa nui to you. Wawa. Yes, we've got a few more here. Let's just take these last few and try to get to just
So
one question.
Asma has been here, and I believe she has a question. You all can see her
Yes.
on the screen, right? Okay, yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I quickly want to thank Erin, because she just came to me in my sleep and told me that Zay is fine. And Source was telling you to tell me that Zay is fine and is going to be fine. And my deceased son, the spirit of my deceased son, came to console me while I was crying. So I just wanted to thank you for this message that you sent me right now. And I want to also announce that I will be looking for you. I'm going to Boston in May, and I will travel to San Diego to find you.
Okay.
I am in Hanover, Germany right now, but I will be traveling. I always travel a lot, and I can only agree with you that traveling is, one of the ways that you can also experience, as you said, beauty and source and everything. So I am very, very grateful to be part of this community, and I honor Huna Flash and Huna Ma Ha Na, and I hope very much to meet you anywhere on this world, in this world. I've been to Hawaii, I've been to the States many times, and I am originally from Havana, Cuba. So anybody who wants to travel to Cuba or to Germany or to London is welcome in my home. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will be in Germany. I will be in Germany again. I travel to Hamburg quite often.
Oh,
so
that it would be great to know when you're around to meet up.
Yes, in end of March, I believe. My partner, she lives in Hamburg. She's going to be hosting the Lemurian Dragon Ride in Hamburg. Yes,
end of March.
She'll be hosting that event, and it's a very powerful
group therapy. And I'm
so
sorry, I will not
please
be
stay
around.
in touch, and we will connect you. I would love to connect you to her. She's not far from Hanover, as you know.
Wow. Yes.
She's probably watching. She might be watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe I can get in connect with her. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you so much.
So much love, Mother.
In San Diego. Let me know. Send me an email.
Okay, will do.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Okay, Erin's going to be the last question. So, but we got here Danilo. Danilo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hello.
Greetings, brother.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a nudge to come in. Not really sure. I got a nudge to come in and ask how the dragon energy is affecting Atlanta, Georgia, and I just want to say peace and blessings to everybody. I enjoy all of your content and what y'all bring into the space.
Thank you, brother. Wow, that's wonderful.
Huna?
Huh? What's that question? What was the question?
How is the dragon energy affecting the Atlanta, Georgia area?
Oh, oh my goodness, yes. We've got to get down there and do some work. There's some portals down there that is transmitting, transferring energy through to the second dimension through there, so that the dragon energies there are being very stressed. Can I say that? Trapped. Let me say trapped, and being what's not overwhelmed but manipulated. Being manipulated. So we have to drop. We have to come and do a drop. To Georgia we have Huna's not too far from there, do we not? Yes, we do. And let's make a plan. Dinero, there is you should send an email perhaps, or send a message.
Send an email in.
And at office at hoh.earth. And the Hunas that are not far from Georgia.
I feel like I need to play a part.
From what I can see in Atlanta, there's a lot of creative energy being harnessed and distorted. That's the main thing that's standing out to me. A lot of pure God spark energy that people are creating things from their true inner childlike essence, but there's sort of like this Hollywood grid there a little bit that's just feeding off of that energy and distorting the original vibration. Yeah, that's what I feel and see.
And that the music and the film industry there in Georgia has major manipulation energies there. Right.
Yeah, it completely changed the dynamics of the city. Honestly, the culture and everything has been trying to reset and refix itself since things kind of ramped up here.
We got work to do, brother.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll email you though.
The energetics of the dragon energy is being manipulated. So there is some, we have to come and free them up. We have to show the dragon the shiny thing, because the dragon wants to see the shine. As soon as the dragon sees the shiny thing, it'll pull itself from that manipulation, and it will reveal who it is that is manipulating it.
Makes sense.
That means that we have to go into ceremony there.
Well, let me know when y'all come down. I want to be a part if I can in any way. You know,
I would like to. Absolutely. Shoot me an email, brother. We'll get into it.
All right, I'll shoot your email.
Can you speak to the parallel between Atlanta and Atlantis? That comes up a lot as a collective question. Is Atlanta connected to Atlantis in a more specific way?
It is of the same languaging. Absolutely. It is of the same codes. And again, Atlanta, energetically distorted light. That's why we say we have this compassion for the tribes of Draconian. We do have the compassion for that. We cannot let him just fall. We said to Gaia before she rose up that we will bring everybody with us. Now, Atlantis, there's another sound at Atlanta, Azatlan. They're the same. In the Mayan, Azatlan, and the Aztec, Atlanta, Georgia, but Atlanta, Atlantis, Atlantic, Atlantean.
That's why a lot of light workers have been called to Atlanta, going to Atlanta in droves over the last 10 years to cleanse that energetic grid, because it is a big Draconian hub.
And certainly the arrival of the film industry, since the arrival of the film industry there, and the music industry. I know they're doing a lot of films there in the past number of years, so that's also part of it. We got a lot to do. What can I say?
Sure.
Thank you, brother. Let's get. Oh, I'm sorry, but I think Erin's going to be the last question, sweet dear ones. Because I tell you what, we've gone marathon to 4:30. We've been on 3 hours. And I tell you,
I'm
everyone
hungry.
knows.
I'm hungry. I've got to refuel.
Exactly.
So
Everyone knows that I get cranky when I'm
your
hungry.
body's
Okay,
got to eat, you know.
Appreciate
I
y'all
don't want
for
to bite
having me.
anyone's head off.
Bye, De Niro. Thank you.
Thank you, Danilo. And Asma and Sana, I'm sorry, but this will be the last question. And thank you, brother, for visiting. It's always good to see an afro in the house. My goodness,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
looking
Greetings,
cool,
everybody.
brother. My ninja. My ninja.
Just had a question. I came in late, so I don't know if this question was answered or not. But a lot of people being called to travel nowadays. It's me as well. I'm being called to travel, and you guys talking about the draconic, the dragon energy that's coming up on the planet, Lemurian energy that's coming down on the planet. Are the descendants of these races or beings that are reincarnated in this time from these races being called to specific areas to transmute energy and bring it into this time and space?
You want to answer that, Erin? We all will,
So
but would you like to share that?
Okay. If I'm understanding your question correctly, are you asking about the lineages of the draconian races and essentially what's going to happen with them?
In a way, yes.
So what's already happening is higher light beings incarnating into those lineages and having to transmute the density. Many people here are doing that, which is why you may notice you've incarnated into a family that may be really, really, really dense, triggering, they may not have the bandwidth or the capacity to understand who you are, your vibration and your frequency, but you are taking that DNA and you're making it viable for ascension again. So those 22 billion souls that Huna always talks about, those are the ones really coming in to do the cleanup. Because by the way, that draconian frequency and vibration has been scattered throughout all of the DNA, like the human genetic library. So everyone's really doing that already on some level. Some people have it a little bit more difficult in terms of the lineage that they've incarnated into. So what I'll say, and then Hona or Mahana can share, we have to have compassion and we have to start closing this gap of separation where it's a us versus them, because there are light workers in disguise in avatars that your human subconsciousness may want to associate with the oppressor or the bad one or the negative one, but they're actually raising the vibration of that genetic pool. And so who's really who? You have to know them by their frequency, not by their skin tone anymore. That's an old matrix programming loop that many people need to exit out of. That seemed very important to say. So that's what I have.
Fantastic. Yes, I will call this a dress rehearsal. now, this dress rehearsal, the 22 billion souls are just a dress rehearsal. They, in other words, Erin's right. There are those coming in for these certain work and levels, capacity, because they do have the wisdom and the knowledge. And then there's actually more than 22 billion coming in for this that will be arriving here, which is expanded. It's an expansion of the now, because it's expanding the now. But there's far more than 22 billion coming. I'm just talking about 22 billion that was in the dress rehearsal and all of what their missions and what they're going to be doing here. As well, there are those that walked in. Now, they walked in ahead of schedule. There were walk-ins that came through into the form as some souls weren't able to stay. Either they were indigo, rainbow, star children. Some of them wanted to leave, and so there was walk-ins to save the form and continue to work. Now, even those walk-ins, by the way, were a little surprised by the level of density and distortion in the field. Took some time for them to learn to be here, and even sometimes they couldn't. They had to switch out again. So for them, there's a lot of switching. There was a lot of switching going on, and certainly the 22 billion, certainly those that are awakening now or coming into who are getting ready to journey, like yourself, getting prepared, be prepared to receive the information. Get ready to prepare yourself. What is it you need? Is that any one of us here that can support and help with expand? See, expansion creates byproducts of healing and all of these things. The expansion of the consciousness is what is the true healer. The heal yourself and transmit and emanate this energy of compassion, which is super powerful when it is 111% supported within your being. As you trust yourself, you will have the power of that. That takes some practice, that takes some tools, that takes some going from particularly one matrix to one that is of benevolence, one that is of use to you. One matrix that is of use to you, is going to help serve you to serve beyond yourself, that serves you as well. And now we know that the Draconians are lower in the numbers, by the way. They do not number like they used to number. There have been a lot that have come to the light. Even if we talk about the Anunnaki, as you talk about the Anunnaki now, the higher lords of the Anunnaki, of which some of the names you know, moved into the light containers to upgrade light, because it was that we were going to know who we are and that we are even more powerful than the Anunnaki. Can I say that? Well, I said it. I say it all the time. I ain't afraid to say that. I'm a big gangster, and you got to be a little bit like this. A little bit, okay. Well, I'm unafraid. I have no problems. And I will say with a laugh on my face and smile. We continue to smile, brother. Look, as part of the education, part of your education. And so those beings are the high lords of the low realms. What's remaining of them is the last couple of dimensions of the lords of the lowest realms, and some of that is within the human DNA, the 10-strand DNA that we talk about, that is affecting the movements of the planet in certain ways and affecting the way you move across the planet. They're trying to lock down again, right? It's not going to happen, though. Not going to happen. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. That ain't going to happen. That agenda is already thwarted. So, so those 10-strand DNAs are quite obvious and way out on the mainstream media. They the elites of the World Economic Forum are 10-strand DNA beings. Khazarians, Ashkenazi, but some of them have come back. I know I've held some of them in the dark till the light goes to the light. Work with the Anunnaki till they return the energy back to the people. Anu means the people of the land. Naki means the movement of so much energy. Anunnaki return to the Naki, which means returning to the energy. Why? To serve humanity, the royal family, the true royal family, to return the energy back to the royal family. And some of these things are good to understand, good to know, because that took place. So a larger mission on that took place in 2016, 2017 from Tor Tower in Glastonbury. That ceremony was programmed from there during first light from the eastern and the western doors. Yeah,
and see yourself as a being who is helping those lower densities to ascend or reascend back into their true form. So when we walk in fear of, well, they are doing this to us and our planet, really the only thing that they can do is mind control that gets you to create a reality on autopilot that you don't understand you've been creating. But when you say, oh, I am the creator and you cannot infiltrate me, this is when you arise to the frequency that they don't have access to. It just dissolves, because this is all a collective dream, right? The dream changes. So remembering that light is the true power and always has been. It's that folks have been tricked into believing that the darkness has more power or is stronger or has more control, but it's just a program. It's just a program. So basically they're just gonna dissolve or reascend into the light or get the heck out of here, which a lot of them have left and are leaving. I actually got this message last month, and it was just, they're leaving. A lot of them they cannot withstand the vibration. We've reached a critical mass frequency that it can't be sustained anymore. So congratulations to all of us for already doing the work. The work has already been done.
Exactly. The same thing happened on the planet Draco. It rose in vibration and they couldn't stay there anymore. That's why they come into the inner planets, certain inside planets. Yeah, and you're right, Erin. Exactly right. Erin, hope to meet you. Send a message through, either through us or through Erin, and the links will be on the show here somewhere on the YouTube. But love to chat to you more about who's moving across the planets. We have a lot of Hunas in a lot of 40 countries, by the way. Hunas in around about 40 countries that can connect. If you happen to be somewhere where Huna will just pop up and maybe you can do a little thing together. You know what I'm saying?
I'm good. I'm ready for it. So hey, I'll be sure to message you. My
ninja.
You're something else.
That's my ninja. I feel like I want to play some funky tunes from the 70s.
Yeah, that's my jam.
That's my jam. That's my jam too. Hey, you guys, Erin, thank you so much. Erin, Universal Channel and Healer, everybody, sweet dear ones. You know where she is. If you need to know, we're going to put the links up and all of the wonderful iterations of all of our links. We've got so many links now, my goodness. And always a pleasure, Erin. Thank you so much for so much light that you bring to the channel and all the conversation. And Huna Ma Ha Na, welcome to your first interview, first little thingy here. And so congratulations to your new website. What is your website, by the way? Could you just tell me?
Yeah, it's www.highlifeacademy, high life spelled HILIFE, highlifeacademy.earth.
Nice. .earth. Yeah. Do you know why I say .earth? Just before we go, sweet dear ones, I'm going to invite all of you to switch your websites to .earth. Here's why. Because .com means corporate over market. Okay, corporation over market. You're the market, they're the corporations. In other words, slave master over the slave market. .com died a long time ago. It just wouldn't go away. But guess what? We made it go away. .earth, you are the dot between heaven and earth. That's why we work with .earth. We tell you the vibration is incredible. Thank you for that, Ma Ha Na. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Huna Tama Ake. Sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds, for you all visiting.
Thank you.
We're going to do this again, Erin. I know this one is a little, where did she go?
I think she was hungry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm hungry.
One more. I know. I want to. Hopefully
my primal nature is showing itself. I'm like,
okay. Let's do it again. All right. Okay. Wawa. What? What?
What? Go ahead. I can hang in there. I promise.
No, I was just saying, well, we could do this again. Or I'll come back to your channel. It'll be great. I look forward to it.
Oh yeah, I'm so thrilled to be aligned with the Hunas, the whole Huna tribe, everything you all are doing, and we have so much collaboration, so much more collaboration.
Looking forward to being there with you in present someday soon.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. Wawa, thank you so much. I'm out this time for sure.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
For all of our expecting families, we have pre- and post-birth sound healing sessions with Huna Kahiwaha, available in person in Vancouver or anywhere online. Go to www.harmonizedfamilyroots.earth. Go beyond the distorted codes of the Draconian matrix and get a Lemurian oracle reading with Huna Kahasahi. For more information or to book your oracle reading, go to www.flc.earth. Introducing Mexico's only harmonic egg, operated by Hunas Maroyata and Ma'aikuta. For all of your health support needs, be it physical or emotional, sessions are available now both in Playa del Carmen and online. To book your session, head to www.apapachar.earth.